Well, good afternoon. How are you? I'm getting out a little late today. I had an argument in Montana. I did it from Virginia, and we got a good result, so it's been a terrific day. I appreciate that. Thomas Jefferson sends word that the temperature right now is 32. It feels like it's 32. And the humidity is 41, and the winds are 16 miles an hour. They don't feel as bad as yesterday, so go figure. In the crazy fashion that Trump blunders along on his path, he hopes, to dictator, we have the situation in which today Führer Trump suggests, maybe I'll take over the District of Columbia. The coup continues in plain view. There are even some commentators that say the coup is near accomplished. I don't think that's true. And it's not just Pollyannish BS. I think there are indications that America does have a soul and is fighting back and is getting its feet. And Trump's not getting smarter, not getting more diplomatic. He sort of doubles down on his vicious, arrogant manner. And that's who he's been, that's who he's always been. And people run around saying we don't understand and stuff like that, making excuses for this criminal is beyond me. As warnings go about viruses during this period, we see that people are working in their offices more, so they don't lose their jobs, but in the bargain, they're in one of a period of time when the flu presents a certain danger. They're going back to the office. So that's something to keep in mind. It should not surprise you, because if individually you feel torn that this could be your America when such terrible things are happening, you're not alone, and not just because we talk about this stuff every day if you're available, and I'm available. The Washington Post Ipsos poll found that 57% say that Trump is exceeding his authority. You think? But that's a substantial number. That's an important point. And that is a number that indicates resistance. And we're seeing more people talk about these things. For example, there was a marvelous confrontation that Trump had with the Maine governor. And well, first of all, Trump goes around saying, and this is untrue, this is false, this is one of his lies. He says there were 2 transgender women in the boxing in the 2020 Olympics. It's just not true. Is it possible? I suppose it's possible. They probably would have certain rules for it at that level of competition. I don't know. But it didn't happen, so we don't have to talk about it. So when the Maine governor had a conversation with Trump recently at a fundraiser of some sort, he said that the funding for Maine does not the funding for Maine will be withheld if they do not comply with his transgender executive order. And the governor in response said, "See you in court." I want to say "see you in court, bub," but that's not the report, so I can't say that. But I think the feeling of what she was saying was right up there. And there's a Republican, Palmer, from Ohio, who said Congress has a role in the country, and the president sort of has to catch on to that and understand that. So I think that's helpful. You know, I've followed with some care, as have others, the court case before Judge Ho involving the prosecution set for trial, I think it was in April presently, of the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams. And the judge is trying to figure out a way that puts him on the right side of precedent in an unprecedented case with facts outside the courtroom that the court's aware of and wants to use. And the court hasn't said these things, but this is what I gather from the order he entered today, which is that he's going to delay the trial indefinitely. So he's not decided to dismiss the case yet, and he may never dismiss the case. So what's he going to do? Well, he's going to get a former Solicitor General in the Bush administration to act as a special master for him. And he's asked the parties to brief a number of questions by March the 7th, and perhaps to have arguments after that. And there are 5 questions to both the prosecutors and defense counsel. And the reason for the Solicitor General is to give the judge an angle on the other side. You know, if you have both sides resolved in an agreement, that doesn't inform the discretion and the normal give and take of a court proceeding. So one of the questions, for example, is to what extent may I, Judge Ho, sort out evidence outside these motions, seemingly. And we have the letter from the prosecutor who was resigned rather than do this unlawful, unethical act, that is to dismiss in exchange for a quid pro quo. And both Main Justice and the defense claim, oh, there's no quid pro quo. If you could lift these guys up over your head, but I don't think you could. They're so heavy with bullshit. They'll say whatever is necessary. And one of the reasons I am comfortable saying that is because how many federal prosecutors does it take who resign to convince us there's something rotten in Denmark? And I'm not talking about Greenland. So we should keep in mind that what we're dealing with is there's a car and a bus at the same time on the road. So here, that's pretty good. So what we have is a judge who has found another way to deal with an unprecedented situation in a structured fashion. I find it encouraging. Now, we'll have to watch and see, but this is an encouraging step. But we've been here before with other players when the encouraging step didn't go so far, but I'm hopeful. And another question he had is, may I consider if this reason for the motion to dismiss is pretextual, which is another way of saying a lie. So, now what else do we have? We have another judge, who's extended the bar against slashing NIH grants. I like that. And then from the north, we have a kind of funny thing. When you think of Canada, do you think of hockey? Do you think they have a good team? Were you surprised that the Canadian team beat our team? Okay. So, well, Trudeau apparently made an open statement to Trump saying, you can't take over our country, right after kicking our ass in the arena. So, what have we got? We have encouraging signs of Republican, small r, Democratic, small d, life in America by pushing back against the horde of selfish, self-aggrandizing offenders of civilization and of our form of government, seeking to install a dictatorship, but first an oligarchy, which, if it followed historic precedent, would ultimately be taken over whomever wanted to be the dictator. And all these people who are pointing fingers are finding out that the team to be on is, if you're not wealthy and you're not in Trump's family, you're nowhere. And the people, well, we needed those to get through the election. And what you could call it is the dance of lies. Trump lies and lies and lies. And I guess people want to believe it. Yeah. And they go off and what do? They commit political suicide on themselves on the benefits and programs and policies that they need, that were put in place for America, and mostly red states, by the way. So keep up even if it's a call a day, every other day, to a congressman or a senator, they count those. Let them know. Get on the job. Fight for America. Or you guys will all be sitting in Trump's camps on a cot adjoining each other as he aggregates his power to himself, as he's trying to do right now, every day in every way possible. So that's what I got to say on this chilly afternoon from my Cathedral of Trees. Hope to see you tomorrow. All the best. Bye-bye.